It's another lovely day in Central Europe, and today is my first day in one of the most popular cities on the planet. Welcome to Prague. So because there's so much to do in Prague, trying to fit it all into some kind of coherent vlogs is going to be pretty much impossible. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to choose one area and film around that area in each vlog. So I'm right at the top of Wencelas Square now, as you can see, the big statue of King Wenceslas there. It makes sense to kind of do the most famous touristy part of Prague, so I'm going to head my way down Wencelas Square. We're going to take a look around Prague's old town. Wencelas Square has for hundreds of years been the kind of centre of all the activity in Prague. There used to be a market here, there was a pond here, there was a well here, there was a theatre here. Any kind of demonstrations and protests always take place in this square. The one that I actually remember in 1989, the protest against the communist rule, which was attended by 250,000 people.
Now hundreds of thousands of Czechoslovaks are in the streets.
They packed into Wencelas Square. They jammed the side streets, and they were not just students and intellectuals. There were workers too, and in large numbers.
Just in front of King Wenceslas Monument, there's this one tucked away, which is, you might miss it, it's very easy to miss. And this is the memorial to Jan Palach and Jan Zajíc in protest against the Warsaw Pact troops entering Czechoslovakia, as it was then. They both burnt themselves to death in this square, separate occasions. They set fire to themselves. So Jan would have been just before his 21st birthday. Jan Palach set himself on fire first in January 1969, and then in February 69 Jan Zajíc did the same thing, and he was 18. Well, the monument at the top of Wencelas Square is not the only monument of King Wenceslas. Just off Wencelas Square is this old kind of vintage shopping mall where there's another monument of the king, one that's slightly different. So that was produced by the artist David Czerny, who has done another couple of pieces, surreal pieces in Prague, which we may get to see. I don't know if they're still there. He won't let it know what his intentions were with that piece, so you'll have to make your own mind up. Right, so instead of eating at one of the overpriced restaurants in the old town, I'm going to do what the locals do. I'm going to go and find this old school Czech cafe and have a nice hearty breakfast. I have no idea what to expect when I go through here. It sounds very quiet. Do you have the English
Yes.
menu?
No, we don't have. We have only Czech menu.
Oh, okay.
No, this is from the fall.
Oh, okay.
But you get it. What you like to some style. You want some national food from Czech?
Yeah, like some
some Czech food. So we have goulash.
Goulash sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go for the goulash. Yeah. It's quite heavy for breakfast. Look how many of them I've got. It's a bit disappointing. I kind of wanted some veg and everything, but goulash is the default go-tos nowadays. So. Yeah, so that was a bit heavy for breakfast. I've not even had a coffee yet, and I'm just eating a massive plate of goulash. I said massive plate, most of it was bread. Prague's certainly not as cheap as it used to be. The beer's still cheap. You know, I was paying, I don't know, a couple of euros for a large beer last night. But food and attractions and stuff, definitely not as cheap as it used to be. I mean, the tower there, you can actually go up into that. It costs about £5 English. And Brno only costs like £2. So yeah, don't expect to come to Prague and think you're going to have a cheap break, because as I said, apart from beer, which is actually cheaper than water, it's not a cheap city anymore. Right, somewhere behind this big old church, just down here, is the smallest house in Prague. It's not really a tourist attraction, but it is a bit of an odd thing, but there it is. The smallest house in Prague. The architecture is just amazing in Prague. Wherever you go, you just look up and the buildings are incredible. Prague was pretty much left alone in World War II. It didn't get destroyed like Warsaw did, and many other parts of Europe. It got through the war relatively unscathed. You don't notice it when you're walking down the street and it's just, you know, shops and stuff, but then you just look up. Stunning. The buildings are amazing. Right. I think now we're entering the Jewish town. That's a bit of a giveaway. So this is known as the Old New Synagogue. It's called the Old New Synagogue because it's actually the oldest synagogue in Europe, but when it was built, it was the new synagogue. So it's the Old New Synagogue. It was completed in 1270 and it's still functioning. It's been at the heart of the Jewish community in Prague for over 700 years.
Yeah, it is.
Hungarian, right?
Prostě vás můžu se zeptat, když je to košer, to děláte jinak než normálně?
So to actually go inside all these synagogues, this is the prices, this is what you're looking at. So for pretty much everything, it's 500 Czech crown. So 300 would be £10. So you're talking about £16–17 just to get in the Old New Synagogue is about £6.50. And you're not allowed to do any of these ones. Not even allowed to take your gun in. So the Jews first moved to Prague in the 10th century, and the first pogrom was in 1096. So, you know, nearly 1,000 years ago, people were committing these despicable acts against the Jews, and this area was actually a ghetto. All the Jews in Prague were forced to live here. And in 1296, on Easter Sunday, 1,500 Jews were massacred in this area. The whole of the Jewish ghetto was demolished in the early 20th century, and just leaving the 6 synagogues that remain now. It's incredible to think that as far back as the 13th century, all the Jews in Prague had to vacate their homes and come and live in this tiny area, the Jewish ghetto. Another incredible story about this area is that the reason why these synagogues survived World War II is because Adolf Hitler wanted to preserve this area as some kind of museum of an extinct race. And the Nazis even gathered artifacts from other European countries and sent them here, where they now can be viewed in the Jewish Museum of Prague. That's why the Jewish Museum of Prague has got so many artifacts, is because the Nazis collected them all from around Europe to send here for their museum of an extinct race. Incredible. So this is another memorial to Jan Palach, the student who set himself on fire in 1969. And it's called House of the Son and House of the Mother. And this one's supposed to represent Jan himself, and this one is supposed to represent his mother, and that's why it's darker. Because his mother obviously had to suffer the loss and grief of her son. So I'm in the main library of Prague now. I've come to look at this. It's a tower of books. This is the Prague City Hall. And apparently in here there's a paternoster lift. Now there is a paternoster lift in my home city of Sheffield, and I was led to believe that's the biggest one in Europe. So let's see if we can find this one. Not even sure I should be in here. Here we are. Doesn't seem quite as creaky as the one in Sheffield. Looks a lot newer. Don't know how many floors we're going to go up. It's maximum one person per lift, so no one else can jump in with them. I think that might be it. That's so weird. There we go. It's alright, isn't it? I think the Sheffield one is bigger. Certainly a lot creakier. So this one's called Reader in an Armchair. So we're in the main square now. Main square is just over here. I've just entered it from this entrance next to, I think it's St Michael's, this place. And so yeah, this is where you'll get all your expensive restaurants and kind of tourist scams that you have to watch out for. Very unusual though is like down here, it's all these empty buildings down here, which you wouldn't think would, you know, you wouldn't think you'd get empty buildings in the main square in Prague. I mean, there obviously used to be things, used to have a, I'm guessing that was a money exchange, and then pizza place, another pizza place, but obviously it's just tucked away that little bit much. Now, I don't know if you can go in here or if you have to pay, or I don't know. Over here you'll see there's a big crowd of tourists, and they're all waiting for the astronomical clock to strike, because on the hour, every hour, the clock strikes and something happens. I don't even know what, but something's going to happen anyway. Let's go and have a look. Time that will. What time is it? 58. So it's the 12 Apostles apparently. You can't fail to be impressed by Prague Old Town. It's so beautiful. So quite a lot of cool museums in Prague, but again, as I was saying earlier, they are expensive. And there's one here, it's a Sex Machines Museum, which looks pretty cool. It's open until about 11 o'clock at night as well. It's like nearly a tenner to get in. Can't do it on my budget. So we've just left the Old Town, which is down there, and just a great example here of what to watch out for when you're in Prague. So we've got the ATMs, and if ever you're if you're not from the Czech Republic and you're travelling, see that, don't use it. But even if you don't see that, just make sure you know what you're paying. Because yesterday I tried to draw out 20 English pounds, and it tried to charge me £4.50 to do so. And there's no need. You can just go to a bank, a normal bank, and draw your money out free of charge. So just keep an eye out on that, and always change in the local currency. Also around the Old Town you'll see a lot of these things around the candy shops, where you buy sweets by weight. They're a total rip-off. No one from Prague shops there. You can get the same sweets in a market for like, you know, a tenth of the price. I'm not sure this would make it onto many people's top 10 things to do in Prague. It's another piece of art by the artist David Czerny, who did the upside down horse that we saw earlier, and it's the embryo drain pipe, and apparently it lights up at night. So this is the statue of King Wenceslas at the top of Wencelas Square. You can see all the people there, which is about 250,000. And on this street there's like a gallery of famous people and a timeline of significant events in Czech history. There's quite a lot of bits of art around here. So if you find yourself walking down this street, it just looks like your typical Prague Old Town street, you might end up missing one of another one of David Czerny's sculptures. So you need to look up there. And that's a sculpture of Sigmund Freud hanging from a pole. He's not hanging by a noose, he's actually holding on to it. Check this out. So this is Kafka's Head by that chap David Czerny again, and every hour it rotates. And I think I'm a little bit early for it, but I do need to get a drink, so I might go and do that and then come and watch it rotate. Success. Very friendly Czech guy told me which one to get as well, so I'm looking for the Nepaliva, which means well, it's without gas basically. The amount of times I've bought water with gas, and it's just as an indication, this was less than £5, £4.95, so about 17p, something like that. We were charging about €4 or €5 for that in the old town. Well, this is pretty grim. This is something called the Exhibition of Angels, and what it is it's a memorial to victims of road accidents. Each angel represents one dead pedestrian in 2018 in Prague. It's even got the shoes on. Crash with the tram, crash with the bus. I hope you've enjoyed this little trip around the city. I've certainly enjoyed walking around the old town. It is my third time in Prague, and I just can't get bored of it. It's such a beautiful city. So that's probably going to be it for this vlog. But as I said, keep your eyes out for other Prague vlogs as well, because there will be more. So see you soon.